interesting enough to at least keep them in mind in order to return at a time when everything was under better light conditions. So I was left wondering.
At the mercy of the sun, Hasselberger would have to wait for just the right time of day for the light to reveal more of the mysterious lines.
There's a golden time each day when the sunlight comes just about parallel to the surface.
It was worth the wait.
Coming back, again under better light conditions, it was a kind of revelation because I realized this is a full-sized vertical section of a column, the very one at the front of the temple.
At just the right place in the temple of the sun god Apollo, at just the right time of day, he discovered what might be the answer to the riddle. An almost invisible, scaled-down version of the subtle entasis curve of the columns. This template represents a squashed column. Because it is impossible to draw the curve of the column in full size, the Greeks scaled down the height of the column by a factor of 16. Now, they had a curve that could be drawn with a large compass-like instrument. But the genius behind the template is that the width was not scaled down. So each horizontal line is still the radius of a full-scale column. Now, all a stonemason need do is set his compass to any line of the template to get the diameter of any corresponding point on the column. This simple scale drawing was a key reference for the stonemasons at Didyma as they carved one column drum after another.
Greek stonemasons were so experienced in creating optical refinements like entasis that they may have been given relatively little guidance.
The inscribed template survived at Didyma because the temple was destroyed by an earthquake and remained unfinished. But at the Parthenon, such lines probably disappeared when the walls were polished at the time of completion.
The Parthenon was finished, the marble surface is smooth and polished, and with it went what we assume were the construction lines of that temple.
The modern restorers believe the ancient builders must have had some similar kind of template to produce the subtle curvature on not only the columns, but most of the Parthenon's marble blocks.
The key problems are these amazing refinements, the curvature, the inclination, and so on. But once you've got them established, once you know with these blueprints exactly where you're going, then you can proceed down the length of the building and across the front by repetition. So once they get going, they can get going at considerable speed.
With the discovery of the Didyma plans, the restorers have new insight into the last great secret of how the ancients built the Parthenon. But now they face the ultimate test as they place the drum they've so painstakingly reconstructed back on its column. With all its curves and angles, will this new column drum fit? It does.
Yes, we're very happy.
The restorers now need only apply a finish sanding to the most distinctive feature of the columns, the fluting. The crowning achievement will come with the placement of this 12-ton capital on top of the column shaft. For Kores and the modern restorers, this finished marble is more than just another piece of the jigsaw puzzle. They feel they have successfully entered the minds of the ancient builders and discovered how Pericles and his architects were able to design and engineer the ideals of beauty and perfection into this monumental building. Using the same marble and similar techniques and tools, the Acropolis restoration team has reconstructed a part of the Parthenon perhaps as perfectly as the original builders.
In the next 10 years, the work site will be empty and we will be able to admire the perfect proportions of the Parthenon again.
The Parthenon was completed in 432 BCE. As the ultimate expression of Athenian ideals, the temple is adorned with mythological battles of victory. Justice over injustice, civilization defeating barbarity, order prevailing over chaos. And perhaps for the first time on a Greek temple, the Athenians, mere mortals, depict themselves alongside the gods.
And so if the human beings, if the Athenians on the Parthenon frieze are elevated near the rank of gods, the gods are represented in a way that makes them human. And the difference between gods and mortals, between Athenians and the Olympians, is not one so much of kind as of degree. This is an extremely humanistic way of representing themselves.
But the temple and society that built it would not last. Just 1 year later, Pericles goes to the citizens of Athens for funds to equip an army against the threat of Sparta. To pay for it, he suggests they could, if necessary, strip the gold from the great statue of Athena. Soon after, Pericles and a third of the city die from the plague. Athens is crushed by the Spartans, who turn the Parthenon into an army barracks. For the next 2 millennia, the Parthenon would be abused by Romans, barbarians, Christians, Muslims, Turks, with the final insult coming in the 18th and 19th centuries, when Europeans rediscover classical Greece and, out of reverence, plunder much of its remaining sculptures. The most famous of which, the Elgin marbles, are in the British Museum to this day. When the Acropolis restoration project began over 30 years ago, Manolis Kores and his colleagues could have chosen to restore the Parthenon to its original state, adorned with sculpture and friezes painted in vivid colors. Instead, they chose to preserve what has survived these 2,500 years. A majestic ruin, a witness to what we needlessly destroy, and the beauty and perfection that we can create.